What's up? What's happening? What up? What's happening? It's your boy, Realtalk, shawty. You're not tuned into another video. Thank you for coming back and joining the channel. Today is Testimony Tuesday, and I got to give y'all a testimony. How about we start with what happened last night? Now, this particular testimony is going to be based on patience, because when this experience that I had happened to me, the first thing that I was focused on, or the very first thing that came to mind, was to act out of my instincts, right? And I had to sit back and just analyze the situation for what it really was, in terms of what did this particular situation mean to me, and what was it trying to tell me, right? So last night I had got back from dropping off a load, and when I got home, I was excited about being home, and I forget why I was in a rush, but obviously I was in a rush because when I got home, I ended up locking the keys to the house in the truck.
Boy, if you don't...
Right? And when I got out the truck, initially, I'm like, dang, I locked the keys in the truck. And, you know, I was about to get irritated, but I thought about it and I said, well,
Shut your stupid...
I got a spare key, so there was really no point in me getting upset. So, good thing I had opened the garage. The garage was already open, so I came in the house looking for the spare key. It was late. Make a long story short, I ended up not finding the key last night. So by the time I went back outside, there was a truck that had pulled up. A mobile mechanic had pulled up, and he's like, "Hey, bro," he's like, "You need some help? I'm a mobile mechanic. You know, I've been working on trucks, yada yada yada." And I said, "No, I'm good, man." I said, "I actually locked the keys in the truck." He was like, "Oh yeah." He said, "Well, I got a lockout kit. You know, I can get in the truck for you." I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Well, what would you charge me? You know, how much?" He said, "Let me look at it first." So he came in the driveway, looked at the truck, looked at the window, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I can get in there." He's like, "Just give me $100.
Boy, if you don't...
Give me $100, you know, and I'll get you back in the truck." And I thought about it. I was reaching in my pocket, and I thought about it. I said, "Hold on, I got a spare key to this truck." I said, "Man, I'm good, man." I said, "If you got a card, I'll take your card, and, you know, I'll call you if I need you on a later date." Because I just didn't see paying $100 for something that was gonna be fixed like that when I had a spare key. So I told homie to pull off. So I kept looking for the spare key. I just couldn't find the key. So I said, you know what? Maybe since it's late, you know, I've been up all day. I said, maybe, if I go to sleep to relax my mind, tomorrow when I wake up, I'll be able to think clearly and remember where I put the spare key. So I went to sleep. Woke up by the grace of God the next day, which is today, and I started looking for the key again. Well, I still couldn't find the key. And I'm like, I got to get in this truck because I got a load later on. And, I just can't just sit here without, getting some work done for the day. So I said, well, by any means, I'm going to get in this truck. So I remember the mobile mechanic last night said something about a lockout kit. So, I made a hood version of a lockout kit. I went and got two of those wire hangers.
Boy, if you don't...
Those clothes hangers, clothes wires, with those wire clothes hangers. I got two of them, took them apart, put them together, and I went out there to go try to open the truck. So I'm shimmying the wire clothes hanger down through the door to try to get to the lock, to open the lock, to pull the lock up. But the lock was like, the lock button was so like far down the window, it's kind of hard to explain, but make a long story short, the wire wasn't able to get to the lock to pull the lock up. So I tried plan B. I tried something different, and I tried to put the hanger on the handle so that the wire could grab the handle, the door handle, and lift up and open the door that way. So I do that. I'm shimmying it down there, trying to get it down in there, right at the perfect angle. And I finally got it. So when I got it, I'm excited. I'm like, yes. I'm like, hold on, let me just stay patient because I don't want to mess this up. So I'm right there on the door handle. And as I'm pulling up, I see the handle coming up slowly but surely. But by the time it gets like right to the, I guess, 90-degree angle, the daggone wire comes off of the door handle, off of the door handle. The wire comes off the door handle and it slips. I'm like, dang. So I'm like, okay, so I pull the wire back up.
Shut your stupid.
I ended up pulling the wire back out the door and I doubled it up. So I bent it, like I bent the hook twice so that it could be double its strength. Put it back in there, boom. I'm shimmying it back down, trying to get it in there. And I finally got it back in there, but I just couldn't get it back on the door handle. So I'm like, dang, man, it's taking, and then it's super, well, it wasn't really hot, but it was about maybe 75, 76 degrees today in Atlanta, and the sun was just beaming. So I'm like, dang. So finally, I pulled the wire back up out the door, and I just go back in the house, and I'm just chilling. I'm thinking to myself, like, why did this happen, right? And I said, well, I got the mobile mechanic's card. I can always call him, pay him the $100. He'll come and open the door for me.
Boy, if you don't.
But then again, I said, well, that ain't gonna work because his lockout kit, the pole that he uses to put inside of the door wasn't long enough, because my clothes wire, I had to use 2 wire clothes hangers timed together just to be able to fit into the door and for it to be long enough to reach the door handle and the door lock. So I knew that his equipment wasn't gonna work. So my next best bet was for me to call roadside assistance. That was gonna be like, I called them, they said $250.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
So I'm sitting back like, dang, so I can't find my spare key, right? I passed up an opportunity to pay somebody $100, even though I'm glad I passed up on that, because I would have just gave him free money because he wasn't gonna be able to get in the truck anyway. And the third step that I took was to create my own device by putting 2 wire clothes hangers together and shimmy them into the door to try to open the door, but that didn't work. So at this point, I was almost defeated, but I wasn't gonna accept defeat. See, one thing about a winner isn't the person that gets it right the first time. Whoever gets it right the first time, congratulations. But the majority of us have to continue to go over things or to go through things to become perfected or to become that greatest version of ourselves. So I wasn't gonna accept defeat. This was like my 3rd attempt. The first attempt didn't go through. The second attempt wasn't successful, and the third attempt wasn't successful. But I wasn't gonna give up. So I came in the house, and I heard God's voice. He was like, go grab the Chevrolet keys. I'm like, the Chevrolet keys? He's like, yeah. So I went to grab the Chevrolet key, went back outside, put the key in there. I'm just wiggling it, and finally, boom, the door popped open. And I'm like, wow. You mean to tell me this Chevrolet key that's manufactured and created for a whole nother vehicle opened the door to my Freightliner? And I'm like, how is that possible? And when I sat back and thought about it, I said, you know what? I serve a higher power. I serve an almighty God. My God is above all the other gods. So what do I have to worry about? What do I have to complain about? Nothing. The only thing I had to do was sit back and focus on what this experience was teaching me. And what it taught me was patience. Because if I would have just took my time and grabbed the key out of the ignition when I turned the truck off, before I locked the door, I wouldn't have locked my keys in the car or in the truck.
Shut your stupid.
So that particular experience taught me patience. So saints, today on Testimony Tuesday, the topic is going to be patience. Whether you're starting your business, whether you just got hired on to your dream job, whether you are stepping into a new relationship, whether you are exercising, working out, looking to put on muscle or lose weight, whatever it is that you're doing, that you're up against, whatever challenges that you're up against, take things one day at a time. And if you utilize patience, you will eliminate a lot of the hiccups that you could cause for yourself just by trying to move too fast. And never lose sight of the goal. Never lose faith, because if I would have let the clothes wire or the clothes hanger get me upset, and I wouldn't have thought about grabbing the Chevrolet key, which is a completely different set of keys that don't even match this truck. So I knew 9 times out of 10, it wasn't even the key that opened the door. It was the fact that my mind didn't focus on all the negatives that was going on around me. My mind focused on the positives. And I sat back and, I considered what I had to do with this particular scenario and how it was going to benefit me in the end. I didn't continue to focus on any of the things that was trying to aggravate me. However, by keeping that mentality, I became victorious and the door popped open with little to no damage at all, with no money spent at all. And I ended up getting some rest, some much needed rest, because I had to turn down a load that was ready for pickup like around 1:30 because I didn't have the truck keys. I didn't have the door open yet. But by the time I had finally gotten the door open, I was about maybe an hour, hour and a half away from my pickup time for my load that I had already booked 2 or 3 days before. So God was just talking to me and telling me, just slow down and be patient. No matter what you do, take it one day at a time. You don't have to be the best at what you do. You don't have to be the most talented. You don't have to be the smartest. But as long as you have faith, as long as you have a consistent regimen and a plan, there's nothing that can stop you, especially if you are putting all of your trust and your faith in the Most High Yah. So with that being said, family, this your boy Real Talk Shouted. Thank you for coming back and joining the channel and watching another video. Today is Testimony Tuesday, and I hope this testimony helps you in your personal, business, and relationship life. I'll get it y'all next time. Shalom.